Hello everyone, this is Latasha Blanton from the Real South Africa Travel and Tourism. And you're going to have the opportunity to travel with Phil Scott to
sunny South Africa. You guys are going to have the opportunity to come to Johannesburg, and you guys are going to be coming to Durban. And we're going to set it up perfectly. It's going to be like a luxury experience for you guys. At the same time, you're going to be getting some culture. And of course, you're going to get an opportunity to talk to Phil, hang out with Phil, and get his views on Africa and South Africa.
You're also going to get an opportunity to explore the lifestyles here that are available in South Africa. And we're going to do all that for you in an amazing 10 days. We do hope that you go to the website and book, because we do look forward to seeing you here.
Absolutely. Our website is therealsouthafrica.com. Go there, scroll down. You'll see a picture of Phil, and just go ahead and book there. So we'll see you here in what we like to call sunny South Africa.
Hello fam, welcome back to the African Diaspora News channel. I am Wongel Zelalem, and today we're talking about Mauritius, an African country. To be specific, a country that is located in the Indian Ocean, and it's known for its beautiful beaches, lagoons and reefs, and also its mountains. Mauritius is just gorgeous, and it's usually seen as a destination place for many people. And there's a debate. Well, this debate is not new, it's old, but I recently came across Mauritians actually debating and disagreeing with one another of their origin or who they want to associate with. Obviously, there are certain groups of people who believe they're so close to the white man, which they're called, I think, Franco-Mauritians, the ones that are more fair-skinned, and they claim their French side more than any other side. And they actually get offended when you remind them that they are part of Africa. They actually get irritated. Let me show you this clip. We'll come back and discuss.
I just saw the weirdest video on my For You page, and I wanted to discuss because it annoyed me that much. Basically, it's this, I think she's Australian Mauritian girl talking about the annoying experience that every Mauritian has when you're trying to explain to people where you're actually from and, you know, about Mauritius. My issue is not with the video is fine. My issue with that is that in the comments, there's some weird stuff going down. Basically, in the comments, people are addressing with the creator that Mauritius is part of Africa. It's in Africa, which is correct. However, this girl seems to have a massive issue with that and is in the comments basically trying to distance Mauritius from Africa, which is super weird behavior for a few reasons. The first being that Mauritius is part of Africa. It is an African country. It is part of the African continent. It is considered as that. A Google search will tell you that. There's no disputing that. I'm not sure why she has this big issue with it. Mauritius has even won titles like safest country in Africa and things like that. Secondly, it's weird because Mauritius has strong ties to mainland Africa historically. There are Mauritians whose heritage ancestry goes back to mainland Africa because Mauritius had African slaves. It had slaves brought in, and that is what the country was built off. We should never forget that. And because of that history, things that we cherish within our culture, such as our Sega music and our Sega dance, actually come directly from those slaves that, you know, you're trying to distance yourself from. You might say, Christy, why are you so worked up about this? Calm down. It's because of this. Like that video showed, it's frustrating enough being Mauritian and having to explain to people where Mauritius is, what Mauritius is. I usually go back to the 1700s and start with a full history of Mauritius because you will inevitably have people who will tell you who you are or what you are. There are people that tell you you don't look Mauritian enough for them. Both your parents can't possibly be Mauritian, even though your family's been in Mauritius since the 1700s. There are people from Mauritius from all over the world. And there are people like my ancestors who are a mix of all of those things together. And the culture is a mix of all of those things together as well, which is what makes it so great and beautiful. So when we try and deny part of that, it's not cool. Not only do we have to deal with the frustration of explaining about Mauritius to people that aren't from there, Then you have Mauritians who become their own worst enemy because they don't want to acknowledge the history. People's ancestors come from different places, and that's what makes it so great. People who Mauritians who like to say that they're French, those are the worst ones. Can we just get on the same team? Okay, and stop trying to erase and rewrite history because it makes us uncomfortable that it wasn't all rainbows and unicorns and butterflies. In conclusion, Mauritius is part of Africa. Please don't get on the internet and spread misinformation. Thank you.
Christy is Mauritian. She is proud of all her ancestry, right? Because when Mauritius, and she explained it a little bit, when Mauritius came to be what they are right now because of a lot of cultures coming together, most by force, like the African slaves, they were taken there by force, or the Indians, they were taken to be used as laborers. So these people are basically like a melting pot. And not to mention, they are politically and geographically located next to Africa in the Indian Ocean. So they are Africa. They're part of the African Union. So there's no debate when it comes to that, but surprisingly, there are people that will deny it because they believe that they're more French and they don't want to claim their African side. This girl actually explains it a little bit more in a second video that she made, and she was discussing or mentioning why exactly they feel that way, and she believes it's because of colonization and how they benefited from their closeness to whiteness, so they want to keep that, right? They want to continue being close to the white man basically, and they don't want anything to do with Africans, the black skin. They just don't want to associate with it, and that is part of the problem right now in many countries, if you believe it or not. It's very sad to see how colonization literally tore us apart and made us turn on one another, picking on things that are so silly in order for us to fight one another, picking the other side and saying that I'm closer to the other side, so I'm above you, you're beneath me. How ridiculous is it that we're still having this kind of conversation in 2024? It's time that we change that. It's time that we focus on changing our circumstance and changing our economies and changing our mentality and attitude towards who actually is running our countries and our continent behind the scenes, and who is really in charge of our issues. When we realize that and we start working on ourselves and our countries instead of picking on our own brothers and sisters, I think then we'll do better. What kind of nonsense is it that you get irritated or you get angry when someone mentions that Mauritius is found in Africa? How ridiculous is that? But that's the reality of many people and the discrimination that they face in their own country because they don't identify as, for example, in this case, as French Mauritians. This is sad, but we need to talk about it in order for us to understand what the core problem is and for us to change it for the better. Anyways, fam, let us know down below what your thoughts are about this. I am Wongel Zelalem. I'll see you on the next one.